what we're going to talk about is iron play, and this is an overview from a lesson I had a couple of weeks ago with this golfer who struggled to hit their iron shots, and what we covered to obviously eradicate certain problems with iron shots. So when we talk about an iron shot, we want to everyone kind of has the concept of you need to try and help the golf ball up in the air almost as if they're hitting a driver. When we talk about an iron shot, it's really important that we have a concept. A lot of golfers struggle with a general concept to stick to within their practice. So the first thing you need to think about is what type of shot do we want to hit with an iron shot. So what do we want to hit, a low shot, do we want to hit a high shot? So what I've got here is 7 iron, and I'm going to talk about the basic principles you need to kind of adhere to when you're hitting an iron shot. This golfer was a really good amateur player, struggling a little bit with low point control with their irons, club hitting the ground a little bit too early before impact, and we're almost creating a big divot before impact and create a high ball flight and not a lot of consistent striking ability. So this golfer had a tendency, they were setting up to the golf ball, and the tendency was when they set up to the golf ball and then when they get into the impact position, their body weight, so this is my address position, what we always encourage is when we're hitting an iron, our pressure is moving slightly forward and our pressure is moving a little bit more into the ground. That's going to help us create a nice compressed crisp strike and make a slight divot after impact. This golfer came for a lesson. They were taking the club to the top of the backswing, and the tendency was their weight stayed behind the golf ball, so their chest is behind the golf ball, and they got a little bit flicky at impact. So what I mean by flicky is they were moving the pressure, instead of moving the pressure down this way into the ground, the pressure was moving up towards the sky, almost in that position. So the pressure was moving up towards the sky, and we almost got this left wrist in a cupped position, almost like that. So the club head got to the golf ball before the hands did, and that created a lot of strike issues, a lot of compression issues. So this golfer had a lot of strikes off the bottom of the golf club, so strikes were coming out more of the leading edge as opposed to the top of the golf club. What an iron is designed so the shaft leans a little bit further forward. We want to make contact a little bit higher in the face, so instead of leading edge it's more towards the middle. How do we do that? If we help the ball up in the air, what's going to happen is leading edge works up too early and we're going to create a strike out the bottom part of the golf club. So to encourage us to hit more in the middle of the club face, we need to lean the shaft a little bit further forward, so almost in that position. So we lean the shaft a little bit further forward, hands a little bit further forward. The question I always ask certain golfers is, how would you get pressure forward and how would you kind of hit an iron shot? So many golfers or many students that come for lessons, they set up in a general way that they set up with the golf ball a little bit too far forward in their stance. So let's say the middle of our stance is our centre line and like a baseline for where the ball should be positioned for 7 iron. Too many golfers put the ball position a little bit too far forward, and the tendency is we're almost hitting an iron shot as if we're hitting a driver, and we're hitting a little bit too, let's say, ascendingly on the golf ball as opposed to descendingly. So from there, the ball's a little bit too far forward, weight's too far back, and we're just getting a little bit flicky. Think about this, if my weight's too far back, the only way I'm to reach the golf ball is I'm trying to flick my wrists at the golf ball in this position, and that's what that golfer was doing, and they created a lot of compression issues and they were struggling with strikes. So what I said to this golfer is, the way to create a better consistent kind of mindset when you're hitting an iron shot is understanding where you actually need to apply pressure. What foot do you apply pressure into? Well, the weight has to go forward and it has to go a little bit more down into the ground. So this golfer had this position. I've done videos in the past where we'll talk about this kind of lead wrist getting a little bit cupped and extended, almost in that position. So that's where we create this angle. The logo on my glove wants to point kind of towards the target. I gave this golfer two common concepts, and what we kind of processed was the pressure has to move down towards the ground. So the way we're going to create pressure down towards the ground is feel like my right elbow is connected to my right hip, and that's moving down into the ground. Common fault where golfers try and help the ball up in the air, right elbow comes detached from the right hip. So what we're going to focus on today is we're getting to the top of the backswing, right? We're going from our address position And how do we get into that impact position? How do we get our hands ahead? How do we get our pressure moving left? What we need to do is we need to feel like when we get to the top of the backswing, our weight's moving underneath our left foot and our pressure's moving more in towards our left knee. That's going to get our hands a little bit ahead impact. The biggest thing that people miss out is getting pressure left. We need to have about 70 to 75% of our weight moving left when we're hitting an iron shot. That's a benchmark to start off with. If you're feeling a little bit more confident, you can go up to 80, then 90, and then 100. So what we want to do, we want to get to the top of the backswing, and I want you to feel like you're just keeping your right elbow and your right hip in connection. That's the main, we're keeping them connected. I want to feel like that's moving down more towards the ground, and I want to feel like my left wrist, instead of that going in a cupped position too early, that wants to bow down towards the ground, almost in that position. That's a feeling. So left wrist, back of the logo on the glove, new foot joy sign, that has to move down towards the ground, and the right palm has to face down towards the ground, almost in that position. If we get flicky and start helping the ball up in there, the palm's going to face towards the sky, left wrist is going to almost be too much extended, and that's where the logo is going to point towards the sky. So what we want to do, simple tips, get to the top of the backswing, and as we start down, I want you to feel like you're applying a little bit more pressure left. So I feel a bit more pressure on my left knee. My right elbow and right hip are moving more down towards the ground, and my left hand, so the logo hand, the glove hand, is moving down towards the ground, almost in that position, and my right palm is pointing down towards the ground, almost in that position. As you can see from there, if we do that, the handle's going to move forward. We're going to create a DELOFTed action. That's going to create more compression, and you're going to create more consistency as a golfer. So guys, drill number one, what we're going to talk about is when we get to the top of the backswing, when we start down. So to get a little bit more pressure left, what we need to feel like we're doing is we're using our legs a little bit more. So our legs are moving a little bit more. It's not necessarily down the way. We need to feel like we've got a little bit more, our legs are a little bit more like passive, and they're moving a little bit more towards the target. If we get scoopy or get flicky, our legs kind of stay static. So I want you to feel like you've got a little kick with your legs, so creating a little bit more pressure down the way, and that's going to help you transfer weight a little bit more left and get that desired strike that you want. Tip number two, so drill number two within your practice, if you've ever watched Tommy Fleetwood play golf, as he comes through, he almost looks like he's punching every golf shot. I want you to train that feeling within your practice. So if we have let's say golfers who help the ball up in there, they have a high finish, and that's where the leading edge gets a little bit too high too early. What I want you to feel like you're doing, you're setting up to the ball, we're just taking nice and half swing, so we're just getting to the top of the backswing. I want you to feel like you're stopping at the golf ball. That's going to see, and then see your impact position. Remember, getting the hands ahead. Where's the club? What position is the club in? So we get to the top, stop at the golf ball almost in that position. Our weight's a little bit more left, and then also just hit some punch shots. Just learn how to turn the loft down towards the target. So let's hit this shot and put that into practice. I'm almost hitting a punch shot almost in that position. So my weight's going to move left. I want to feel like my logo on my left hand's pointing down towards the ground, my right hand's pointing down towards the ground, the palm of that, and we're just going to feel like we're making nice, short, controlled swings. So drill number three, what I want you to focus on is when we get to the top of the backswing, I want you to feel like it's a race between your hands and the club head. And those golfers who help the golf ball up in there, the tendency is the club head always wins the race before the hands. So the hands have to get in a way that we need to get to the top of the backswing. Our hands are getting to the golf ball before the club head does. That's a feeling. That coincides with the previous drill we talked about, how our hands are just getting a little bit more ahead, logo's pointing down towards the ground, and that's going to help you achieve a better impact position. So what we need to do is we need to try and get a little bit more pressure moving forward. Our pressure has to move down towards the golf ball. And also what we want to do is we want to get the logo in the left hand pointing more down towards the ground. The palm, let's say the front of my hand, my right hand has to point down towards the ground. And also simple drills to focus on. We want to feel like we've just got a little bit more give in our legs, so we want to feel like the pressure's moving a little bit more down the way. We also want to feel like we're hitting punch shots, so we're stopping just nice short follow through. And also one other drill is it's a race between your hands and the club head. The hands have to get to the golf ball before the club head does. That's going to help you create a little bit more compression, hit a little bit more down the golf ball, and create the desired shots you want. If you like the video, please like the video, comment below with your thoughts on the video, and I hope everyone has a great Christmas. Hit that subscribe button so we can grow my channel and help you develop your golf swing, and for other people within your golfing bubble that needs to kind of improve their game. Let me know your thoughts on this video. Comment below with other tips you want me to cover in future videos.